Hey y'all, welcome back to BWNAV Politics Watch. So the main topic today that I'll discuss very briefly is the 9th Congressional District down in North Carolina and the shadiness that's happening there, where the election board is refusing to certify the results due to some irregularities. But before I get to that, I do want to remind you guys that today is a big day in the Mueller investigation. The special counsel Bob Mueller will be filing 2 sentencing memos. One for Michael Cohen, who pled guilty to lying to Congress about his dealings with Russia, trying to get a Trump Tower during the election. And the other one is Paul Manafort, who was Trump's former campaign chair, who has been, convicted on multiple counts in the Eastern District of Virginia. He was supposed to be cooperating with Mueller. He signed a cooperation deal, and then he kind of threw it out the water by playing double agent between Mueller and Trump. So I expect that Mueller will throw the book at him. But the main thing we want to see is we want to see memos that aren't heavily redacted so we can get some nice, juicy tidbits as to what's going on in the Mueller investigation. So I've been following the race down in North Carolina in the 9th Congressional District, where the Republican Mark Harris defeated the Democrat Dan McCready by about 900 votes. Even though the votes have been tallied, the North Carolina Election State Board has declined to certify the race and the winner because there have been reports of irregularities in the absentee ballots. And so what happened was Mark Harris, the Republican, hired a consulting firm, which in turn hired Leslie McCrae Dowless Jr., who was a Republican operative. And the allegations are that he along with others that he hired, went around and collected absentee ballots from people in 2 very specific counties, one of them being Bladen County. And the allegations were that those absentee ballots were improperly handled. So what you have down in North Carolina is you have people who submitted sworn affidavits saying that these Republican operatives came to their house and they collected their absentee ballots. In some cases, these absentee ballots were not signed, they weren't sealed, and these operatives told them that it was perfectly okay. They would sign it for them, they would take it and turn it in for them. And what was found was that a disproportionately high number of ballots were signed by the same witness. Typically, a witness is going to be your spouse or a family member or somebody in your household, but a lot of these ballots were signed by the same 2 people who were going around picking up these ballots. And so the allegations are that these ballots were improperly handled. They might have been thrown away. They may have been filled out on behalf of people to give Mark Harris the votes that were intended for Dan McCready. And so there has to be a thorough investigation to this. But the one thing that trips me out is if these were black people we were talking about, Democrats we were talking about who were going around doing this stuff, they would have been thrown under the jail already, okay? They would have been arrested and it would have been a whole different story. But since it's Republicans that we're talking about, we have to withhold judgment. We have to do a thorough investigation. It may have been a misunderstanding. We don't know if it was illegal. But this is the same Republican Party that sits up there and cries about non-existent voter fraud, that has all these voter ID laws to prevent people from voting. But when actual voting fraud allegedly happens, mum is the word. They ain't got nothing to say about it. Well, let me tell you this. If that black woman, they put the black woman down in Texas in jail for 5 years, or they sentenced her to 5 years in jail because she voted on a provisional ballot that wasn't even counted, and they threw the book at her, they need to throw the book at all these people. Lock them all up, okay? Go on ahead and investigate. And if these allegations prove true, throw them in jail. And throw them in jail for a real long time. And more importantly, have another doggone election, because y'all know that shit was shady down there.